What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of my Gran Turismo 02 Hero Racing series. Today we are on the Laguna Seca Weather Tech track in California, USA. Probably one of the most fun and best tracks in the game. And today we are driving the either or version of the Toyota 86. Either the 11 or the Turismo. I want the Turismo. And as you can see, again, I tried looking for a livery, but obviously there's the very common Takumi and the Keiichi Tsuchiya liveries for the cars. Now, as I play the my qualifying lap, I would just like to say that this car, like I said, is so much fun. I love these low horsepower cars. I do prefer them on shorter tracks, but for some reason I felt like this car suited this track so much, and I absolutely loved it. I think they only make about 140 horsepower. I could be absolutely incorrect about that, but this car was so much fun to drive, and I just love these low horsepower lightweight cars. I think it's the best type of cars to drive and have fun with that are not competitive. Of course, the LMP or the Group 3 or Group 4 cars are the most competitive, but I think these cars are the most fun because it really makes you ring out the car, and you don't have to really like try to work with the, I can't think of the word, but you can't really depend on the aero as much. That's what I'm trying to say. You don't depend on the aero as much. But I always talk to my buddy, and if I ever was able to get an 8.6 like this, I think I'd put in a stock 1UZ out of like an SC400 or like an LS400, like the motor I had, but maybe a VVTi version, just so you have a little bit more torque at the bottom end. But neither here nor there. I think that would be the best like seat time car out there, because the car would weigh so little, and with about 300 crank with the VVTi motor, I think this car would be an absolute ripper. Complete NA. If you want to go a little crazy, put like ITBs on it and like long tube headers, this thing would be amazing and also sound incredible. It would be very, very twitchy because of how light it would be and the amount of torque it would be putting out, but I think it would be an absolute blast, and hopefully one day I'll be able to build it. One day I do want to build a time attack 1UZ car. I really wish I did that with my SC400, but you'll see about how that goes in the Friday episode on New Year's Eve, or New Year's Day. You'll see that. But anyways, let's move on to the actual video. I do end up getting a 156.5, or 155.5, which wasn't too bad, but let's be in 5th place, which isn't too bad. And here it goes, beginning of our first race of the episode. Now, smart as I do in the first race, I realized that a lot of people, or there was a lot of room on the inside, and if I went on the outside to take the actual racing line, everyone would be able to pass me on the inside. So that's why I decided to go on the inside, and I'm able to pass basically the guy, well, not pass the guy in 3rd, but I'm able to stay right beside them and actually end up gaining a position. I passed the guy in 5th. Now, pay attention to the guy, What91, because we face him in this race. We don't really pay attention too much to him. We don't really aren't bothered by him too much this race. But next race we do come up against him again, and he's much more prominent in that race. But let's not worry about him right now. Let's worry about this actual, well, we do have to worry right now because he's in front of us, but let's not worry about the race after this. Let's get along with this race first. Now, as we're coming down, I see these two guys fighting, and I see them taking on the inside, so I was like, well, if I go on the actual racing line and take it properly, I'll be able to catch right up to them because they're on the wrong line and they're fighting a ton. And that's exactly what I do. I'm able to get right beside them. But as I'm climbing the mountain, I realized I do not have enough steam to like really pass them, so I had to go right behind them and actually take somewhat of the line. I don't get far enough to the right to take the proper line, but I do end up taking somewhat of the line, and I didn't want to like die on the inside, and I kind of faked them out with that as well. Now, with the Laguna Seca track, the one corner I could not go very fast on just because I was so scared of spinning out like a dummy was the corkscrew here. I was just so worried that I was either going to brake too late or just brake too much, and I was going to fly off the corner and ruin my entire race, which is kind of hindsight about what happens in the future, but we'll be quiet about that until that happens. And yeah, as we're coming on the second last corner, we're still right behind the guys in 1st and 2nd, and I'm keeping my 3rd place. That's right. What I did past the corner back there, I don't think I ran him off the road. I think I just pushed him a little bit too far, which is kind of debatable. Probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have given him a little bit more room, but he is right behind us, and he didn't really lose too much time. He is right behind us, and that's fine. Well, not fine for him, but anyways, we're in 2nd place now. But like I said, I took the outside line like I shouldn't have, like how I said I shouldn't have done in the first or the beginning of the race. And as you can see, everybody else is much better on the brakes than I am because they all did do much faster laps, and they're able to dive in on the inside and completely pass me without even without even hesitating. So that's something I need to work on, is my braking, and I have to learn about more and more defending and when to defend with a race that is so short with only 3 laps, and the laps not even being that long. They're only like a minute 50. I really should be worried more about defending, especially being in a second place position. Now that I'm in third, I should still be considered about defending because there's a guy in 4th place who is right behind me. But as I am, I'm still able to stay right behind the first and second guy. I'm able to compete with them. I'm not really catching them. They are pulling away very slightly. But I am kind of able to keep up, which actually made me feel really good. And I kind of got a little excited about that. As you can see in the corner coming up on the corkscrew, I tried to brake a little bit too early as we come up to it, trying to get a little bit closer, and I brake a little too late and I spin the car out. I do catch it. I don't spin out completely, but I do run off right into the dirt, which I guess you can call a spin out because I did screw up my race. But yeah, that was pretty much how the race ended. Nothing else really happened. I just kind of kept up with the guy in 4th, well, the guy in 3rd slightly, and yeah, that was pretty much how the race ended, and I did end up ruining my race. Right after that, I do end up taking another qualifying. I go a little bit faster. I go 3/10 faster, which is pretty cool, but that puts me in 7th, which is kind of lower, which kind of doesn't make sense, but that's matchmaking for you. And yeah, so as you can see, the guy in 3rd place, it is What91. He's back in this race, but he kind of gets screwed at the beginning of the race here after the first corner. I think someone throws him off course, and he kind of gets pushed into 9th behind me. But as you can see in the first corner, I don't do what I did last race, and I'm around the outside, and I let everybody and their mom go on the inside and just pass me like I just gave him a good Christmas present. All the way down, back into 10th. I do lose 3 positions, and as you can see, there's What91. He does come off course. I don't know if someone hit him or if he spun out. I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't really paying attention to that. But yeah, now he's in 9th place. He's right behind me. The guy who won the race, he did end up winning the last race. And now he's in 9th place fighting it with me. He is a little bit aggressive. As you can see, he does push off the American there a little bit too much for my liking. But I guess it is rubbing his racing, so it wasn't that aggressive. This corner here, I do take braking at the second pylon there and turning in. I think I do brake a little bit too much. I think I lose a little bit too much momentum, especially with a car like this that weighs nothing but also has no horsepower. I should be braking a lot less in that corner. But following up, I do get very aggressive here, taking the inside line on What91 right beside him, and I was able to not kill him. I think it's because he was paying a lot of attention to me as well, knowing that I was coming in real hot and he wanted to kill me. But he does take advantage of me not being very confident in the corkscrew, and he's right up my butt. And the corkscrew also, with me not being able to take it, braking properly for it, I do have my exits of that do end up being very poorly. I do not take the proper line. I almost go off course quite often, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. I took about, I think, 9 or 10 practice laps or qualifying laps for this race. And that was the one corner I just could not deal with. I know a lot of people probably do. It's one of the harder corners in the game. It's a 2-story drop, I think, technically in real life. So it is quite aggressive, that corner. And a lot honestly, the way I'm taking it, it could go a lot worse. A lot of people do end up just dying in that corner every time and just can't figure it out. At least I can kind of figure it out, and I wasn't going too slow. I believe I was only about 3 or 4, possibly 5 seconds off the top guy in the world, which was probably correct. But yeah, I was off about 5 seconds because I was at 55.2, and I think the fastest guy was at 53, something like that. Or like I said, the top guy in my region, so the Americas. But as you can see, What91 does end up passing me once again, but I think we're able to get right behind him, and we're not letting him out of our sight. We're going to make sure we catch this guy. We are not letting him absolutely run away with this race because I know he is quick. So once I get him out of my sight and I get him out of my slipstream, I'm going to be pretty much screwed. For this corner here, I should have taken the proper line. I thought I was going to get a little bit too close to him and hit him, but I really should have gone right behind him, take the proper line, and done a cut-in right under him, and I would have been a little bit faster, because also he does end up screwing up that corner. I think that was me being a little bit aggressive, kind of screwing him up, seeing me trying to go for the dive and messing up his line. But if I took the guy line properly, he wouldn't have been on my butt as we are right now, and I would have been a little bit safer, but it is what it is. We did not pass him, and now we're on the corkscrew, and again, I don't take it good enough. As you can see, I almost go onto the curb there, and the guy, What 91, is right behind me. Now, he is on my inside, and I do believe he ends up going back on my outside, and he gets a little bit too aggressive with me in the second last corner here, bumping me completely and almost throwing me off course, which I did not appreciate whatsoever. Now, we're going to speed this up just a little bit to pretty much... Oh, how far did we actually speed this up quite a bit. I do try and stay right behind him the entire race. I do take the first corner pretty poorly. That was just because I was kind of pissed. That way he overtook me in the second last corner, so I was kind of fuming, just trying to make sure I stay right behind the guy and don't let him go away. As we get to the halfway point of the lap, I do calm down just a little bit, and I'm just trying to keep my head down and just focus on my race and try not to spin out or do any dumb moves. As you can see, we're just right behind him coming into the final corner, and as close as we were, I decided to do the dive bomb of the century, and I probably could have broke a little bit more later, but I do end up tapping him and going on the inside of him. Was that a little aggressive? Probably. I kind of wish I didn't do that. I wish I broke a little bit later and I would have been able to get the line better and probably would have hit him as hard. But yeah, we do end up taking him out of the race, and we do get 7th for that. So I do apologize for the way I did that. I was really mad the way he dealt with that. And we're going to move on with that. I'm sorry, What 91. You live in Chile anyway, so I won't have to ever deal with you ever again in my life. So see you later. As we come into the third and final race of the episode, we are in 3rd place starting off, which got me real excited, and I learned from my bad decisions last time, and I just go straight into the inside to make sure nobody passes me. As you can see, the guy who was in 2nd and now in 1st does end up going on the what's it called, the pit out lane, and he does get a 1-second penalty. I think it's also because he does tap the guy as he came out of the pit out, and he gets a 1-second penalty, which works perfectly for me, because since he got it so early on in the race, he's gonna get slowed down at the first slowdown. We don't have to wait till the next lap, so we're gonna go right into 2nd place right after this. And yeah, so we're right behind him, and I'm trying to make sure he wasn't gonna ghost back in as I was going past him, but I thought with him every 1 second, I was right behind him. I didn't have to worry too much about that. But now we're in 2nd place right at the beginning of the race. I'm feeling confident. The Brazilian in front of me is quite quick, so we do have to worry about that guy, but we also have to worry about the American behind me, who is also quite quick, because even though he did serve that 1-second penalty, he's right behind us. He's right there. Also, where that penalty is served is kind of in a weird spot. I don't want to say bad, I don't want to say good, but it's an odd spot where that you get slowed down right before where you have to start braking. So the way it kind of ends up is you kind of are just do a really early brake, and you're able to kind of just go full throttle into that corner, and you kind of get a lot of speed into it. So even if the guy ahead of you does brake, you're able to kind of gain a lot of speed and get right behind him coming up that corner, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. But as you can see, the American is right behind me. I got a little bit nervous with how close he was, and I leave the inside completely open, and he takes full advantage of that and gets right beside me, and there's nothing I can do with him on the inside here. I do try to go as fast as I can on the straight here, but it is you can't really go anywhere with these little horsepower cars, and since we're all in the same car, you can't really use any power for advantage. So I decided to just let him take the inside, and I go a little bit too deep into the corner, but he does end up getting a 0.5-second penalty. I have no idea why. I don't think he hit me, but he does get a half-second penalty, again, right at the beginning of the lap. So that means he's going to get slowed down right at the same spot as last time, and we will end up being able to pass him. But with him having only a 1-second penalty before, and how easy he was able to catch back up at, like I said, with him only having half of that, he's going to catch basically right up, and I was actually very nervous of going through him this time, because I thought for sure he was going to catch up, I was really scared of going through him because I thought he was going to go back in and I was going to hit him, but I kind of just risked it for the biscuit and be able to get right through him. But as you can see, like I said, with him only having a half-second penalty, and since he didn't lose much speed anyways, he's right on my butt. He's right behind me, and he's going to go right. I tried pushing him as much as I could to the outside, tried to take the inside line, but he just stuck to the inside line, and as you know, he's much better on the brakes than I was, and he does end up passing me. I thought he was going to end up getting a penalty for going on the green a little bit too much, but I guess he doesn't. So he doesn't end up getting a penalty, and he stays right in front of us. And we're going to speed it up basically to about the halfway point once again, just because nothing happened. I was right behind him, and I'm just trying to keep up. As you can see, I am kind of staying as close as I can to them. I am staying somewhat competitive with them or near them. And I was kind of slowly getting worried about the guy in 4th place, but I decided that he was a little bit too far. As you can see in this corner that he keeps saying slow down on, he takes a little bit too short and he ends up getting a penalty, a 1-second penalty. Now, with me being about a second and a half or almost 2 seconds, I believe, behind him, I thought there was a chance because I knew there wasn't another slowdown on the track. So I knew basically if I was going to get him was if I was close enough to him at the end of the race, they would have awarded me second instead for his 1-second penalty. I kind of find that weird. I thought he would have gotten more of a penalty just for the fact that he's been getting a lot of penalties this race. I thought they would have given him a little bit more, but they don't. And yeah, but we're still close-ish to him. At this point, even if we get close to him, even if we finish the race right now, we would not finish in second. But he does end up going off the course just ever so slightly, slowing him down. And I thought that was going to be the race for me. I thought that would have been my saving grace with him going off course there, but unfortunately, that is not how the race ends up going because he does end up getting about a second and a half in front of me at the end of the race. So he does serve the penalty, obviously, but I am not close enough or nearly close enough to be awarded second place, unfortunately. But I do end up getting a pole. I do end up getting a podium finish, which is pretty freaking awesome. I was actually really happy about that. So the end of this race isn't that bad. So I didn't end up losing a position, but I didn't gain one. But I was able to hold my 3rd position. Something I've always been worried about was starting up so high up that since you're so far ahead, there's no positions to really be gained or lost. But it gives me a lot of confidence, especially how well I drove in this episode. It gives me a lot of confidence in the way I'm driving, and clearly I'm getting better and better with the consistency I'm doing and actually playing the game and not playing it once a week and then not picking up the game for another 2 months. But anyways, that's going to be the end of this episode. I would like to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. If you have any more tips or tricks for me, even though the game is basically done and GT7 is coming out soon, please comment down below. And without anything else besides that, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.